This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Now, there's a very, very in-depth and candid article here, which I shall put in the description box for you guys, from Amir Khan. And some of the things that he says in here, I think is truly admirable. I mean, he talks about his spending habits, some of the things that he's done in the past, and how the fact that he's always wanted to be a known fighter, as in a celebrity. And he's quite open that that's what he wanted. And it's nice that he managed to get that. And a lot of the fighters around the world would love to have what he's had. So fame, he's had loads of fights, he's become world champion. And he says that the 4 losses on his record have made him a better fighter. Personally, I think against Lamont Peterson, I think he won that fight, to be fair. But it is what it is. So officially on his record, he's got 4 losses, and most devastatingly against Saul Canelo Alvarez in a fight that he should never have taken. But one thing you can say about Amir Khan is he's one brave, brave soul. No doubt about it. He is crazy brave. It's probably the correct way of putting it. If he could probably, maybe, I don't want to say he fear anybody, but I think he's nervous of Kell Brook. Not so much that he doesn't feel he could beat him, but that's a loss he can't stomach. I think him losing to Kell Brook will keep him up at night. And I think that's one of the reasons why the fight hasn't happened. Now, he doesn't say that in that interview, and I wouldn't expect him to admit it. But for quite some time, I was critical of Amir Khan because I didn't like the fact that he kept making up excuses about not fighting Kell Brook. Because I don't really think about the fact that a loss to Kell Brook would probably haunt him. And I didn't like the fact that he just left the UK and just fought in America for a long, long time. I felt like he almost deserted us. I have nothing against fighters going abroad to try and make their money and make a name, but ultimately, you know, Britain is what made you, ultimately, so you should fight in Britain. And he has come back. Now, within this article, he talks about the Terence Crawford fight, which is, of course, coming up this weekend. And again, very, very brave move. And one of the things that he says is that he wants to be the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world and world champion. Currently, Terence Crawford has that. Vasyl Lomachenko has that. Saul Canelo Alvarez has that. Amir Khan wants that. He's never been known as pound-for-pound. So by beating Terence Crawford, he'd be pound-for-pound. Some people would agree with that. Others would disagree with that. I said pound-for-pound, very subjective. But I understand him taking this fight. I do. A loss to Terence Crawford is far less damaging than a loss to Kell Brook. He hasn't said that in this article, by the way, but that's just my personal feeling on it. But equally, this is a fight where he does say that this is a chess match. Terence Crawford, not the biggest puncher in the world, but he is pretty devastating at times. He can be. We've seen it on quite a few occasions, and against Juice and Dongo as well. Another devastating body shot. So he can punch very hard, and Jeff Horn, who is a very come-forward fighter, and Benavidez as well, he put the brakes on them. Okay, so he does hit hard. But Terence Crawford is a skillful fighter, so this is skill versus skill, boxing intellect versus boxing intellect. And it's not really a fight that we've really seen Amir Khan in. He's always fought people with less skill. And when that happens, we know he's going to dance around them. And for me, I don't really like fights that go the distance too much. But his fight against Devon Alexander, he put on an absolute boxing clinic. His footwork, I've never seen anything like it. The way that he moved forward, the way he moved side to side and backwards, was like he was on ice. Okay, it was like he was ice skating. It was absolutely a joy to watch. It really was. But ultimately, with Amir Khan, listen, being an Amir Khan, or whether you're not an Amir Khan fan, he brings excitement. He does need to stay focused against Terence Crawford, and he always needs to stay focused because a big shot comes through. We've seen him go to sleep. We've seen him go down. We've seen him on Bambi legs. It's not really fun to watch, okay? Listen, for some people it is. But for me, I always want to see him do well. He's a Brit. Of course I do. And as much as I'm a huge, huge fan of Terence Crawford, I actually want Amir Khan to win this one. And I'm just being perfectly honest, purely for patriotic reasons. But is Amir Khan going to win this one? I think the bookies would say no, wouldn't they? But you never know. And I find myself saying that quite a bit lately about, well, you never know One punch could, and you know, all this kind of thing. But this is the kind of fight where one punch isn't going to make a difference for Amir Khan. I don't think Amir Khan carries that kind of power to stop Terence Crawford. Listen, I'd love to be wrong, but I don't think he does. So he's going to have to be disciplined in this one. And this has always been one of Amir Khan's problems, the fact that staying disciplined is always an issue for him. He forgets he's not a big puncher. He forgets he's not that durable. And he goes in there trading and he gets caught. Either he goes down or he gets put to sleep. So in this one, he needs to be fully focused. And Amir Khan of 4 years ago, you may actually favour him to beat Crawford. I think Amir Khan is skillful and fast enough to beat Crawford. But how is Amir Khan now? He's had a long time out of the ring, and his 2 fight comebacks, he looked great against Le Greco, but that's because he just put it on him like straight away. But in his last fight against Vargas, it didn't look that great. I mean, he certainly did enough to win, but he didn't look excellent. But now he is back with Virgil Hunter, and Virgil Hunter knows him best, and Virgil Hunter, he's living on knife hooks himself, isn't he? And the fact that you know, he keeps trying to drill home to Amir Khan, stay focused, stay disciplined, and Amir Khan just doesn't. And that's what always makes him exciting. But Terence Crawford, is he pound for pound number 1, 2, 3, 4, however you have him? It just is what it is. But he's certainly up there, isn't he? You know, he's a multi-weight world champion, undisputed 140-pound champion, and now 147-pound champion. Terence Crawford's the real deal. Okay, he's not towards the end of his career. And big up for Amir Khan for at least taking this fight. Of course, us here in Britain, we'd love to have seen the Kell Brook fight, but ultimately I think that that fight is getting less and less interesting as time goes on, to be brutally honest. I mean, that's my personal opinion, and I think a lot of you guys share that as well. I think that that fight is, the sell-by date on it is pretty expired now. But Amir Khan going up against Terence Crawford, at least he is going to fight Terence Crawford. Errol Spence Jr., he just don't want to know, does he? He just doesn't. I know recently he has said that he is willing to fight him, but, well, talk is cheap, to be honest with you, and the actions that he's shown is showing that he's a very nervous fighter, which is a shame, because I'm a massive Errol Spence fan, and I've always rated him. And when he won the title of Kell Brook, he was doing all the right things, he was saying the right things, and him even fighting Lamont Peterson was a good move. That was the best move that he could possibly fight out of the IBF. The Ocampo fight, okay, not really a fight anybody wanted to see, but he had no choice in that fight. He had to take it. Mikey Garcia, okay, he was certainly a weight bully in that fight. But for quite some time, he's been talking about the Danny Garcias, the Sean Porters, the Keith Thurmans, the Manny Pacquiaos, and so on, so on, so on. But he mentioned Terence Crawford to him, and he starts bumbling. That's not really a good look, talking about the wrong side of the street. How they need to talk to Uncle Al, and then yet in the very same breath he'll say how he's his own promoter. I'm not too sure if Man Down Promotions is really a real promotional company. Has it ever been used? I don't think so. But anyway, I mean, this seems to be the way with the PBC. It seems, I mean, not for all of them. I mean, Jarrett Hurd's a very good fighter, and he does what he says on the tin. And a couple of others do as well, but Gervonta Davis, Mike Garcia, both of them have ducked Vasyl Lomachenko so far, which is a shame because both of them could actually beat Lomachenko. You never know. Wilder, he's a serial ducker. We know that. You know, he's scared to death of Dillian White and Anthony Joshua and many of the past that he could have fought, and others as well. But when you look at the top-ranked fighters, they're always willing to fight fighters. When you look at the Matchroom, when you look at the Frank Warren, when you look at the Golden Boy fighters, they're always willing to fight. They're always willing to risk it. Okay, and so big props to Amir Khan. Now, would he become pound for pound number one if he defeated Terence Crawford? No reason why not. Now, I know that a lot of the Terence Crawford fans are no longer Terence Crawford fans. They've now jumped ship to Errol Spence. Why? Because it's a PBC thing. It's absolutely pathetic. But when Crawford was fighting Julius Indongo, a lot of people were saying, these very same fans were saying that if Julius Indongo beat Terence Crawford, then Julius Indongo would be number one. Why were they saying that? Well, because of the colour of their skin, that's why. Of course, but anybody else? No, of course not. But would Amir Khan, would he get number one in their mind? No, but they should, based on their own values, right? But for me, would he be number one? Maybe, why not? I mean, he'd certainly be up there. I mean, for him to defeat Terence Crawford is one hell of an achievement, and I wouldn't put it past Amir Khan to do it. So for him to be pound for pound number one, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to throw him in the mix, wouldn't you? You really would. And nobody could say that Terence Crawford's on the downhill, because he certainly isn't. But very, very risky fight. Is it a fight that Amir Khan's going to win? Who knows, to be honest, who knows? As I said, Amir Khan of 3-4 years ago, maybe. But Amir Khan now, I think maybe a few miles on the clock. I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, I mean, it's a fight I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure you guys are as well. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.